Welcome back to another episode of Industry Talk with Brandon Andre. And I'm here in Paris with, yes, these intros do get tricky. Not everyone is used to being on a podcast, so just bear with us, you guys. I prefer these more realistic intros anyway.
Okay. Hello, I am Anastasia and I'm a model agent based in Portugal.
And I'm Sophia, I'm model based in Paris.
A lot of people in Europe, and just when you're a mother agent, it's important to really understand how to adequately represent your models, not just in Europe, but throughout the world. And today we're going to be talking a lot about what that relationship should look like, not just between the mother agent and the model, but also between the mother agency and the modeling agency. There's a lot of things to unpack, especially because, Sophia, recently you've created a little bit of a buzz on social media about just when it comes to modeling agencies paying their models. And so we'll be touching on that. Let's start with how you guys first got connected, your guys' story.
So I got scouted by Anastasia Scout around 6-7 years ago. I presume it was 2019, maybe even earlier, because Anastasia took a lot of time to make me actually look like a model. She was taking care of me I think like a mom can take care of her very, very precious daughter, something about it. So first my model trip was in Bangkok, then it was China, something else. And only after several tries, I came to Europe. I think it was first time in Italy.
I think it was Italy 2021.
Maybe it still was a COVID time. So
yeah, it was Italy 2021
and
September.
At this point, I remember I discovered a big difference between working in Asia with Asian sister agencies and working in Europe. But then, when I totally moved in Paris, I started to be based here and going to some other countries only for direct bookings. And one of my experiences was with one quite big agency in Spain. I remember when I was having a little choice in between, I picked exactly this one because I just checked their Instagram and I saw so many cool jobs. There was some Mamaeva campaigns, some cool shows of what their models were doing. On their board, they had several very big actors, and for me it was like, oh, of course, totally done. I'm making contract with them. Well, I must say that it was very pleasant to work with them. Was not pleasant to actually harvest what I earned. It took me more than 2 years, I think, maybe from my first job to get fully paid. And on top of it, I remember at some point they were still taking some commissions on having me on board. So I'm supposed to pay money for being on a website, being promoted, I must say.
I remember like in the last 2 years, I actually asked them to
You
make.
asked, but before they've been still taking it, and
I asked them to make an exception, and not to take money for your representation in Spain.
Gesture of goodwill,
which is a topic that we'll talk about as well, website fees, because I've actually posted a video about how I feel about agencies and website fees and stuff. But before we continue on, can you tell everybody where you guys are from, where you're based as well? Like, so you guys are both Russian, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, we are both Russians, and she moved to France in 2022, and I moved to Portugal in 2022. And we just met in Moscow, and I remember when I met her for the first time, I was like, yeah, this girl definitely should live in Paris. She should work in Paris. I felt like it's meant to happen at some point, and it happened, even though like in a kind of like dramatic way, because of the circumstances. Yeah.
So your first placement then was in what country?
It was in Thailand.
Okay.
It was amazing.
So
I still wish to come back.
Do you have representation in Russia? How does the modeling scene in Russia?
I think it's not the way how we used to think about it in Europe. Basically, you're gonna have your mother agent, and sometimes your mother agent will have some booking, like a direct booking. Sometimes you're gonna be shared with another agency what's specialized precisely on the job in this specific city where you are, or like the whole country. But to be honest, I never really stayed in Russia for a while for modeling, maybe like several months, and It was not my thing. To be honest, I can't really
Right.
tell much about
What
it.
about you? Do you ever place models from in Russia? Is there like a
Yeah,
market there?
I do. Like recently, like in the last 4 years, I think the market in Russia, in Moscow, it's growing very fast, and but this is very commercial market. To be honest, there are agencies, like a few agencies who are taking care of most of the clients of Russia, and yeah, like I have some models who actually like live in Moscow and they work there, but still this is not something like this is not the experience that you can get when you go to
Right.
Asia or Europe or America. This is different. Yeah, but still it's good place for development. There are actually so many models now in Moscow that the competition is crazy. So like it's very tricky there. Like they even now they sometimes say that your model should go to Paris first and then come back to Moscow, and then she will start working. You're like, okay.
It seems like after a certain point in certain markets, in order to actually make an impact there, you have to come with credits and like a reputation of work that you've already done. What are some of the biggest markets in Eastern Europe outside of Milan, Paris, and just the Western side?
Moscow, no?
To be honest, yeah, if we talk about like for example like Poland and Estonia, Latvia, and all those other countries, that Moscow, I think, yeah, they have lots of work there compared to other countries.
Yeah, because I get a lot of people that DM me on social media that come
Yeah.
from those countries. I'm always curious because I don't really know what those markets look like and if there's any. I know Poland, Warsaw, there's a lot of people that I get messages from there, and there are models that are signed in Poland. Never really heard from anybody in Moscow. Outside of Warsaw, Greece, Turkey.
Right, Greece, but Greece is a very small market. Yeah, they have a few agencies there, like they're like three good agencies, I would say, and one is a really top agency. But they have all the work, like editorials and e-coms and everything, but very low budget. I would say, yeah. And what I heard even from Sophia that most of the Greek magazines they actually shoot outside of Greece already, so you
Really?
don't need to go there. So,
What about
yeah.
Turkey? What about Turkey? The Turkish market?
Turkish market. Oh my god, this is actually a huge market.
I was there once, though.
Yeah, this is a huge market. They have lots of agencies there, but I think this is also is the problem. It makes a lot of chaos, and I think you can work there. We just need to reduce the number of agencies. I mean, it's good. You actually can get a really good material, like pictures from Turkey, and they have a beautiful editorial shootings.
Where does a model get developed in Europe? And then what's like the first city to place a model, and how do you approach it? And how do you see most mother agents approach in Europe?
I would say that, it depends on the model. It depends on the type, depends how ready she is or he. Depends on the age, everything. It depends even like of a level of English, but I know that most of the agents from Eastern Europe, they first send models to Asia, like Japan, China, or Korea, for example. So they develop them like maybe for a few years. And after that, like they try main markets, or maybe in Europe, maybe they start from Greece, maybe they can try also like Turkey or Spain, some other countries, because again, like it's very tricky to send a girl for the first trip to Paris, for example, because Paris is like, you see how many models
Right,
there
right.
Yeah, so yeah, most of the time it's just Asia. We see what is happening there. We also like test the person as well to see how much stress this person can take it, because like it's still very stressful job.
Right.
And yeah, it's like step by step, and also like
Which was that was your first placement. So your placement was
True. So at first, when Nastya scouted me, Anastasia is a little name in Russian. Maybe 3 months after, I got invitation to casting of women. Remember, it was a thing, and I came, and they were like, "Oh wow, you're tall, you're beautiful, everything, but you're missing experience so much. We wish you to go to some I don't know, any country in Asia. Just get used to work, and then let's speak later." And there is a interesting think about it, that many European agencies are craving for very fresh debut, for the faces what never been shown. All the clients, they want only these exclusive faces for one time to work with them, sometimes making some worldwide exclusive and probably never call back. But in the same time, you must go to some very hidden market where nobody gonna know you, where we all will pretend that, oh no, she's so fresh, she never worked before. So that was the thing with me. I used to work in many other countries before I came to Europe and was pretending that I'm a very fresh new face. It was written on my comp card.
Yeah, it happens
New
sometimes.
face with 5 years, I think,
It happens
experience or
sometimes,
something.
like, the girl had done already like 7 years in Asia, and when she comes to Paris and delete all her Instagram, it's like she's brand new.
So okay, that's interesting. So when you are debuting a model in Paris or in some of these bigger European markets, you want to present them as a new face.
Yeah.
But in order to get them to be competitive in these newer markets, they have to have a body of work. Or is it a body of work or just the experience that they look for? Like if let's say in your case, you were in Asia for how many years before you came to Paris?
Maybe total, I don't know, year with all this little
Well, she
stuff
had only
around.
a couple of trips to Asia.
Then Turkey, then something else. Yeah.
Okay, so you had some experience getting developed there. When you were placing her in Paris, did they ask for a body of work, or how did they verify, like, oh, she now has more experience and we can trust her in this market? What was that one thing that they were looking for?
Yeah, some agencies ask if the girl had done some trips before, what's her experience, well, but some of the agencies, they don't care. They just, they have a Zoom with the girl, they like her. They don't care even about the pictures, what they have, what the girl has in her book. They just signed it and that's it. And they just start everything from the scratch again. For them, what's important is the attitude. How the girl or the boy behave. Like if he knows what he's doing or not. Because when you're very fresh, you can make so many mistakes. And of course, I can understand those agencies. They are investing into models, like money and time, and they don't want to bring anyone who, I don't know, next day got a casting with Pier Giorgio, and instead of going to the to the casting, like we'll see it at the coffee shop.
Right.
They want models who understand what's this about. And it's totally fine, I think. So that's why we have to go through all this like preparation.
Right. So then would you say that the determination of whether a model has experience enough for an agency to trust them in the market really comes down to the interview and how they conduct themselves? Because a model who's been sent to Asian markets for development, there's a noticeable difference in the interview process, because without saying, oh, like, show us what she did in Asia for us to see like that she actually has experience, which you're saying that they didn't. So it really was how she conducted herself in the interview, which is good for you guys to know. Then that means that your first interview means everything, how you talk, how you conduct yourself. Do you feel like when you did your interview the first time in the European markets versus after you got developed was different in how you carried yourself?
Oh, totally. Because when I just started in Asia, even being, sometimes photographed in the metro by Chinese people, or just seeing these looks full of, I don't know, adore, how to say it in English, this like whole this thing.
Like people, you stood out there. Is that what you're talking about?
I think I just gained my confidence there. Even working for something what right now I would consider like, I'm never gonna go there anymore. It was dirty. It was bad paid. It was cold. It was the clothes ugly. Clients are, but somehow it developed character. You start to know which exactly movements are your precisely the best. You know how to place yourself. You know how to speak with confidence in your voice. So it definitely needed, but I doubt that you really need to get a lot of pictures from any markets, because I was collecting my portfolio for years with sometimes really expensive photographers. And then I came here in Paris and like, oh yeah, we're gonna cut your hair, like change your hair color, and you need to pose in a bit different way, like just.
So everything basically reset.
Oh yeah, and delete your Instagram also.
Or like reset your Instagram, I'm assuming. Not delete, but reset it.
Yeah, archive everything, change something a little bit, maybe even change names. Sometimes they change the names, like they just read in everything. And there is a freshly new face who never was existing anywhere
Wow.
in public space.
So yeah, it's mostly about the attitude, you know, just the personality. Because I have had this experience when, for example, I had a model who was like, she had no experience at all, like, but she was so confident and relaxed. So the agency actually signed her after the Zoom call. Like, yeah, we don't care. Like, you can develop her because we need material for the visa, but we already like her. It happened before, really. But there are also like lots of models, like for not only for Eastern Europe, I think even from Western Europe, that don't speak English that well. So it's really like impossible to sign them with the agency if they cannot communicate. So we also need to wait until the model finally learn English, because I have models who are like, I want to go to Paris. I'm like, girl, do you speak English by now or not? She's like, no. So I'm like, yeah, then you're not going.
That's interesting. So you guys are or from your experience, models, if they want to break into the fashion scene in Europe, have to learn English.
Of course, yeah, because you need to communicate. We will be all also happy if models don't need to talk, but unfortunately, they have to go through this. They have to communicate with the client, with the agency, you know, like they're humans. They're not just the dolls. You know?
I wonder if the exception is if they're just from France, because I feel like if they're, I see a lot of French models that don't really speak English. So I wonder if that's.
Well, they
She's
work
beautiful.
I mean, like they only work in France, so.
Yeah, well, that's true. What would you say is the difference between modeling in Asia versus now that you're in Paris and Europe?
I think the biggest difference is that in Asia, you really belong to your agency. You are their little kid and you need to follow all the instructions they're giving you. Sometimes you can't even go on the castings on your own. You need to be only in this little car, what will bring you all to these castings compared
It
to...
It depends on the market.
Yeah, of course, but most of them, this market for very, very new faces. I think it's also because they just...
You can also get lost there with it, you know.
Yeah, but...
You don't speak English, you don't speak Japanese, for example. Yeah, of course you need a car.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was in Thailand, there was no such a car, so we've been collecting all our little pocket money, paying taxi to our castings. And here in Europe, agencies are very separated from models. They can expect you to perform your best and still pay them commission. They will send you all the info, but if you really want to get something a little bit more than you can have, you need to work more on your outside of modeling life. Basically, you need to always be in touch with some fashion events, what's going on. You need to always check out if there is any exhibitions, anything what is like right here, right now. Always go there, because the way how clients are approaching you in Paris, most of the times they just seeing you in real life, they seeing your attitude and they want to work with you. And back in the days, apparently bookers, they were going in some same kind of events, you know, maybe with their models, because there was not such thing as internet. And right now they're like, oh, we can just send her portfolio to our casting directors and so on, and we're gonna be paid our fixed salary, gonna go home after 6 p.m. That's it. So there is a lot of responsibility of being developed also is on the model. And recently in Europe, second thing that, for example, my agency, I love them so much. They're really progressive. But sometimes I'm thinking like, wow, they will never tell to any model if she's in a bad shape, because it's just
Offensive,
it's very offensive. They will never tell her that she gained extra 5-10 kilos and it can affect her job. They're never gonna tell me that, for example, I cut my bank badly. Like it's horrible. It's pointing bank now. They're never gonna tell it to me, for which I'm happy maybe. But also I wish to have sometimes a bit more harsh feedback what you can get in Asia, when they can tell you like, you're ugly.
You're missing Asia, you want to go back?
No,
I want to get criticized?
To be honest, no, they were never criticizing me so much, because I was always, you know, like Asianly skinny and everything, but sometimes I'm just missing it in Paris. And I think many girls, they are sometimes like a blind kitties. They want to be lead to some ways. They don't know that they're dressed ugly. that they stink, that they're like whatever it could be. You will never get really harsh feedback what your mother agent from Russia can give you. That your teeth are need some whitening or anything. Your walk is bad. No, I remember recently I've been hearing such a thing as a booker asking model from I think London, from quite same progressive, I would say, woke market. Are you comfortable walking on a high heels or you flat walking model? What is very weird to me, because if you want to make money, if you want to make living out of modeling, you must do, I think, all these high fashion things. Anastasia model Arthur, he's a man and he's walking on high heels, because he wanted to walk for Margiela, what he done. And I think this is a main difference. One of them are too soft and sometimes it's missing some leading for models, and the other can be absolutely crazy and bring model to the depression. So it's better to find something in between.
Yeah, but we still have to be respectful to like Asian markets, because they help a lot to develop models.
They do.
So, but there are something that I think sometimes, like if it comes to Japan, for example, they have their own certain rules in the society, and they're very strict people just in general. So that's why when the model come there, if she's like not in the perfect shape, so something is wrong with her. If the skin is not good, but if the skin is not good and you came to Japan, it's a disaster, because Japanese clients, they don't use that much Photoshop. So there are just some certain rules. We have to respect them. But there are also sometimes, like in some countries, or there are some people at the agencies who are like too much, I would say they're telling too much things to some young girls. Like, for example, she gained 1 kilogram, for example, and they will be like, today you're fat or something like this, so sometimes they're like a little bit too harsh with the young girls, and of course it's damaging the
mental health.
Yeah, but there's still possible to find people who respect like models and blah blah blah. It's just it's just difference between the market, between the mentalities. Yeah, so like,
which is interesting, because I would have thought that Paris, they seem to be harsh people. I mean, they're certainly harsh to Americans.
They learned.
Yeah, really.
I think.
I mean, they learn to be polite.
I think it's tricky here, because agency, they will not tell you that your shape is not the most couture right now, but then you're gonna come to castings and you will see that only really, really skinny girls are getting the best show. So it's like, you wish sometimes to have a little bit more help in it.
A balance is what is necessary.
Yeah, but what is also interesting, when I just came here, my agency here, Premium, they took care of changing my my appearance completely. It was very touching for me. They took me to some, like a, I don't know, Zara, some stores like this in Citadium, and they bought me a bunch of clothes to completely change how do I look like, of course, hair and everything. But at the same time, you're doing it once, you're trying your debut in this like appearance, what they choose for you, and then if it did not work, I don't think they will give you much of feedback. And again, I don't think it's bad, but sometimes I just wish, like, you guys might suggest some changes. What do you think better? But they just very well mannered, so of course it's not gonna be a topic.
Do you ask for feedback?
I do. I always do.
And do they hesitate to give you feedback, or are they forward with it when you do ask?
They are soft. I remember once my client bleached my brows first time in my life, and I was sure that I'm the most edgy, beautiful, cool, like I was running to my agency how I was. I was like, please, let's do Polaroids right now. Send them to all of this, like Pierre George, everyone. There is a new sheriff in the town. Me with my bleached brows. It was amazing. And they were like, maybe, but of course, if you want, they brought nice photographers and made me Polaroids.
And then you saw it, right?
I looked like potato. My face did not have any like angles, corners, anything, because you taking off your brows and
Right.
all your shadows are disappearing. But they let me try, and actually I remember that I was like, yeah, it's nice, because otherwise if they would tell me like, oh no, I would believe like, oh yes, they just don't understand.
Right.
But
You would have rebelled and you would have pushed. Yeah. So they're
yeah.
like, yeah. Well, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess a lot of management has changed. I mean, we would think so because a lot of the new agencies are hiring younger people to work at the agency offices and stuff. So what would you say changes for a model once they're placed in Paris? You know, especially because it's a very competitive market here, and a lot of models, when they get placed in Paris, they think, okay, like now my career has begun. But what is like the reality of getting placed in Paris?
Well, for some models, it's not that easy to get placed in Paris. First of all, you have to fit the market. And, what changes, I think that she finally gets lots of opportunities, and some models, yeah, they get placed, they get signed, but they never come. But those who come, they have to be like really serious about it, what they're doing here. It's not a vacation. And they have to come here in the perfect shape, with a perfect... I would say if you want to really achieve something, you have to be in good shape, beautiful skin, good English, know how to dress, or if the agency tell you that you need to change something, or they suggest you to wear something else for the castings, you have to accept it, because there are some models who say like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. But believe me, like some agencies know better, because they work here on the market, they work with the clients, and yeah. So what changes, like, I mean, if she gets the job, for example, like, I don't know, maybe exclusive or for like Chanel or something like this, yeah, it might be a turning point in her career. Yeah. But at the same time, if nothing happens, if she comes here just for 2 months, nothing happens, this is not the end of the world. That maybe she will come later and continue working, or maybe she will come to Paris like Sophia and she will stay here forever, and it will be her place where she can actually make money. Maybe she will not work with the big brands or everything, but still it's a great place to really work and live.
So we have a home base,
yeah.
basically, right?
Yeah, because it's very busy market, like compared to I don't know, some other places in Europe.
And it's also well paid. Compared to all the markets, it's even with all the taxes, it's really well paid here.
Yeah, I agree with that, because Paris, like I think Sophia just lucky. She signed with a good agency. They keep the level. But yeah, France, you really can make lots of money here. Like compared to like in Italy, prices are way low. For example, in Spain as well, they're way low. But in France is good.
When you are based in Paris, you basically have close proximity to all of these markets. And I would assume that it'd be easier to get not just work in Paris, but everywhere else. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine the taxes for each of these countries. I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare.
She has to pay taxes just in France.
Yeah, that's true. I'm paying taxes only in France, and I'm not paying taxes from any other markets. Yes, they're big, but in the same time, I remember I used to work many years ago with some agency in Italy, what were giving you money in the end of your contract in cash. And that's it. So I presume there was never any credits. Where did you get it? How? So.
But you were a tax resident in Russia back then, so you shouldn't have paid.
I did not make any money, so I never actually received.
But when you're arriving to Europe from some other country, the agency, they ask you to give them a tax paper, which helps you to avoid paying taxes in Europe. So like in France it doesn't work. Here it works only for usages. But like in Italy or in Spain, like you can give them tax paper, so you shouldn't pay here. You can pay at home, like in America, for example,
right.
or in Russia. So there is no double taxes.
Got it.
Yeah, that's true. And these taxes, what you have, they depend on how much money you made. Basically, in France, we have this progressive staged
Right. I think I remember
thing.
reading about that.
So basically, if you're making less than 10 grand per year, not paying anything, from 10 up to, I think, 27, you're paying, I think, 11%. Then it's becoming very big, 30-something.
And you pay 50%.
No, you're not
50%.
paid. You need to have LVMH to
Write-offs.
pay it, I
Right.
think. No. There is a big gap between. But to be honest, they're big, but in the same time, money, what I'm having after making any job, they're still bigger after paying taxes. That money, what I could have making any other smaller markets, I don't know, like a Greece or Italy, without paying taxes. The difference is huge. And sometimes I'm getting direct like messages about directs in Germany, in Switzerland, and
Direct bookings, by the way.
oh, it's so small. It's so small, and also I must pay taxes from this very small payment here in France, what will make it even smaller. So at some point, I remember I got so lazy going anywhere. I was like, the life is beautiful and good here. I will stay, pay my 37 or 33% tax from my money. Oh well, if only I wouldn't know brutto, the net payment, maybe I would have slept better, but this is a life. And in France, you actually the most protected model compared to, I think, any other countries, maybe in States, but I don't know for sure. Here, mannequin model is a real thing. There's a real job. You're gonna have your retirement after it. You have your insurance. You have... I think everything is very well said. There is a lot of laws what's supposed to, protect by the government point of view. There is like a thing that you cannot work on a runway before 18 years old because it's considered like a damaging for mental health. You must go to doctor what will sign you papers that you are skinny but not dying.
Oh wow.
Yeah, something like this. Of course, we're not gonna question how actually fair it is, but it exists. And also, well, yeah, that's all. So yeah, I'm paying taxes here. It's a lot, but it gives a lot of opportunities. We sit in an apartment. What is in Ipoteka?
It's a nice apartment. It's a nice apartment.
Yeah, but it's actually, I think if I was not a model with all these little things here and there, I could have a bigger percentage for the loan. So it's way more protected compared to markets where you can make bigger money without paying taxes and then don't know what to do with it.
Right. How would you determine a model that's actually getting a lot of work in Europe versus a model that is maybe frauding that they're getting a lot of jobs? Like, what is that distinction? Is it the amount of posts that they share of the work that they do? Is it their models.com listing? Like, how do you guys go about determining like that is a top model that's working versus someone that's maybe just, trying to be a model or like still making it, maybe they have to work 2 jobs. Like, what is that distinction from your guys' perspective?
I think for a model agent, it's obvious if it's a model or not, if you look at the Instagram. But yeah, like models.com helps. Yeah, and also, even if the model is not on the models.com, still you can see the client she or him works for. You can see it's a real or not. You can see it's fake or not. It's same like in China, you understand it's Chanel or it's fake. Yeah, I think like it's possible to just understand looking at the Instagram or looking at the pictures in the book. It's real or it's Photoshop.
For the models that are watching this that are based in Europe, how many years into their career can they expect to start actually working very consistently?
What I noticed that it's really different for everyone. But also I made some research on some based in Europe models, like just some French girls or like German girls, and I scrolled the whole Instagram to see when she started to work because I was curious, and I saw many like girls like this, and I saw like before they actually had a debut, like a big debut. I think they worked like for 2 or 3 years or something like this. I even checked once Alex Cansani Instagram, like I went through it because I wanted to see when she started working. And I saw that, I don't know, it seems like she actually tried modeling 10 years ago. But everybody knows her like for the last like 5 years, something like this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of the models, even though they're based like, I don't know, in New York or in Paris or in Milan, for some of them it takes a few years. And imagine like if we talk about girls who are like not from Eastern Europe, for them sometimes it takes 10 years because they start really early. Maybe they will start like at I have a model she started when she was 14, and I think now she's already 23 or something like this, and we just signed her with the agency in New York last year. You know, that means like she finally looks the way she should look to work on the market, because you know they are kids, they are developing, they are changing and everything. So sometimes it might take like 7 years or something like this before you actually go to the main market.
Wow. So not every new phase is a new model.
Exactly.
That's interesting. That's good for you guys to understand too. Let's unpack for the audience real quick just the basic understanding of what a mother agent does for a model and the dynamic that is. How do you approach mother agenting?
Well, I take care of them, that's for sure. Yeah, I feel like I'm a very multitasking person when it comes to work. And I try not only to be just an agent. I also try to sometimes like to be the person who support them, because it's important, you know, especially when you work with girls. And yeah, so for me, it's like I find someone, I try to connect with them, and I see if there is a connection or not. And also I see what I can do, how I can develop the model. Yeah, it's just, you know, step by step, we keep in touch most of the time. Of course, I ask my models, you know, to also respect my boundaries, because otherwise they're gonna text me 24 hours a day, every day. So yeah, but yeah, for me, it's kind of like this work is also a part of my life. So some of my models are not just models. You know, yeah, I think this is important, really, like in this business, to have this connection, because for the models, it's important to know that they can call you, and you will help. You won't ignore them, saying like, it's not my problem. Because I heard so many stories about other models from other agencies. You know, they like, for example, they've been sent to China for 2 months, and their booker haven't replied to their message for 1 month or something like this. This is not happening with me. Like, no, I replied to them as soon as, like, I don't know, my work day starts, for example. Yeah, and sometimes those were stories from the girls who are with the top agencies, with top mother agencies, and they're like, we don't communicate with my booker like at all. He just find me the contract, I sign it, and I fly, and that's it. Like, I don't do that kind of things, because I think anything might happen. And also, maybe I'm too controlling, I don't know, but I also want to know what my model does during the contract, because if I don't control them kind of in some way, if I don't teach them how to behave, how to, you know,
conduct,
how to present themselves, they might make so much trouble for me and for themselves as well, and then I have to pay for it, because the agency will be not happy with them, and they will just send them back home saying like, well, now you have to pay us like five grand because your model fucked up, you know. So I have to really connect with them teach them, because, you know, there were situations in my life and models in my life that I had to drop just because I didn't like the way they, you know, the approach work ethic. Work ethic, like the way they talk about other people or something like this. Because I don't want to represent bad people,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard it from some agencies also, like, or from photographers. They say sometimes, we know this is your girl, like, because every time when they send them some new face or something like this, they were like, yeah, this is Anastasia's model. Yeah, because they all kind of have it similar. Maybe they are all nice or something like this,
respectful,
and when respectful, they know how to behave. And if there is someone who are different from the rest, they're like, there's something wrong with it. What is going on? Some girls are like rude, or, you know, they get drunk at night and next day they miss the casting or something like this. If something like this happens, I immediately just drop the person. Like, I don't care. She can go to work with the agency who never communicate with her, or something like this.
That's good. So when it comes to like ensuring that the models that you represent are getting paid, how has that been?
It's been tough.
With tears.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that there are, now we can also pivot to talking to the mother agents that are watching this and the experience that they go through managing talent throughout the world globally, and how difficult it might be to ensure that the mother agent is getting their cut from the jobs that the models are getting, but also ensuring that everything is going according to the books and as needed. And again, now we can finally talk about your experience, Sophia, in Spain. Let's talk about what happened with this viral Instagram post and just the story.
I placed her in 2024
Okay.
in Spain.
Yeah.
She done jobs there. Then something happened, and then I've been chasing them for like 6 months or even more to make them pay us at least some amount of the money.
Yeah, they paid 2/3.
Yeah, they paid. They agreed, the agency proposed themselves that they're gonna pay us like every month some certain amount, so they will pay us fully by like at some point.
Called a gesture of the goodwill, though.
Yeah, exactly. This is what they wrote in the email. This is a gesture of goodwill.
To pay you what you were entitled to get paid.
I know, right?
Yeah, insane. It's insane. Yeah, I mean, like, I understand that now is a hard time, and many agencies are going through the hard time financially and everything, but still, models and moderations have to get paid because we are working not to cover their debts. I would say.
Right, which doesn't, even if they're, I don't even understand how that even would be an equation. Just because an agency is struggling, if the brand hires the model, the brand pays the agency's responsibility is to pay the model, not to pay the agency's debts. And is that what was happening? Is that like the agencies were not paying, were basically covering their debts before they paid the models?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, they're getting paid from the clients, but the models and model agencies are not getting paid because they have their own issues inside the agency. And so, yeah, we got paid. And after that, I had to chase them. Like, I literally called them sometimes every second day, like, guys, are you going to pay us the rest or not? So, and I think it's been like, yeah, I've been chasing them for another.
I think it was a year for this chasing for the leftovers.
Year and a half. Yeah, because the whole thing started when I sent them first invoice in October or September 2024. Yeah. And since then, I was chasing them until we posted this thing.
For 2 years or?
Yes.
So how would you advise a mother agent to ensure like you even see the paper trail of the work that she's done? Do you require a report? Like, how do you make sure that you get to see like what has she done and what are the actual payouts?
Well, we ask for the statement, but for now, like, I mean, like, I believe that sometimes we are getting fake statements, actually, because in the statement they write if the client paid or not, for example, right? And I suspect, but sometimes we see that the client, they write that the client didn't pay, but he actually paid. Because I heard this from, like, right now I have an issue with another model in the agency in Italy, and they like saying us that the job she done in September, the client haven't paid yet. And my girl just yesterday said to me, when I talked to the client, I think to the producer or someone from the team, and they say like, well, this maximum 4 months and you will get paid. I'm like, yeah. And also, like, I heard another story from another mother agent that she was in touch actually with the client, and the client say like, yeah, we already paid to the agency. We don't know why they didn't pay to you. That happens a lot. And but what good thing about France? I think in France they have a law that they have to pay you every 3 months, right?
Yeah. You're supposed to pay maximum in 3 months, and all these payments are quite. It's a lot of paperwork, and usages are paid in the day when your images start to use. Basically, by the way, this story about asking client in almost all the contracts what I have signed, it's written that model is never contacting client. No, model is not asking client if client paid.
People talk. Especially when we don't trust to the agencies, we start asking around, like, did you have the same issue with someone else, and blah, blah. And this mother agent who told me that she was in touch with the client, it just happened because I think she had done her research to find out if the agency is lying to her or not. And she got to the point when she couldn't, like, trust them anymore. So that's why how it happened. And one of those reasons, I heard there's some like things going on now in the industry that the agencies don't like that mother agencies work directly with the clients, because it's ruined the whole system. But I can see why mother agencies do it, because like we are,
Transparency, yeah.
yes, we are the last in the line who are getting paid, and sometimes we don't get paid at all, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's the thing. And I can tell that I am not sure about the other markets. Maybe I was lucky, like in America or Latin America or South America, for example. Even in South America, I got paid, because I heard there are lots of stories from like Mexico City that some agencies don't pay there. In Asia, I always get paid. But again, like I have these issues with payments only in Europe. I don't know what's wrong with guys here, but they're like either like delayed payments. Sometimes I wait for my payment for a year, because sometimes like there's some like a little job in Italy and the commission is so small, but you're still like, okay. Yeah, so it's obvious that when agency is having like some financial issues, we are sometimes not getting paid at all.
Right.
Yeah, because like I haven't had any problems with getting paid like in Asia or South America
Which I was gonna say, so does that then mean that a lot of the way that the industry currently functions with mother agents and modeling agents is purely based off of good faith?
Exactly. Unfortunately, it is. Yeah, we are signing contracts, but sometimes like this, it's so easily to break. What the thing about that, what we signed with the agencies around the world, that this commission agreement, there is no like period of time they have to pay. I think we have to change this. That we have to write down in the commission agreement how many months the agency have to pay us. Of course, there will be lots of agencies who would ask us to delete it, but there is no other way how we can, protect ourselves. Because like really, like sometimes I have to wait for 1 year to get paid from Italy, which is like, this is impossible. Like, this is insane. Like, how is this? How I'm supposed to live? Like, only on my commission that I'm getting from... Because I know some agents only work in Europe. They only place girls and boys in Europe. They don't send them to Asia, where you're getting paid right away after the contract. Or they don't send to America. I think in America, we're getting paid every 3 months or something like this, right? Also, another thing that I don't like about the payments, that if the client... get bankrupt, we are not getting paid as well. And like, we can ask the agency, like, did the client paid? They would say, like, for example, a month ago they got bankrupt, so, but we don't know. Maybe they already paid to the agency. They just say like, they closed. I'm like, okay, so what we do now? And I think it happens once to one of my models, I think like last year or something like this.
Do you know why models don't get paid the day the job is done and completed?
I think because the agencies are like using money for their their business.
Do you think it's on the agency that happens, or on the brands that delay it?
So remember I mentioned that for model in Paris, it's important to go and contact some new people, someone important who you can meet in any event or exhibition. So I met many of my clients who then I brought to my agency because I wanted to be good and work through agency. So my guys are getting little commission, and Anastasia as well. Well, I did not have any troubles here in Paris, but my clients, when they worked with some other models and we just casually meeting and talking about fashion, they might mention that, oh yeah, we like to work with your agency, but imagine we work with some other guys and we paid them and model never received the money. So then she's posting in her Instagram, oh, well, I got scammed by this brand. They never paid me, while we actually did. And it's her agency who's bullshitting her, saying that, girl, our client still did not pay us, or something else. And more and more it goes for the last year. I'm more hearing that clients, first, sometimes they don't have enough money to pay commission and to go through all this paperwork. they want to make it easy. I'm seeing very often in some resources of casting directors who are looking for models for very like high potential brand what will develop and will be speaking about soon in a couple of years. You know it, you can feel it, but what doesn't have right now money for hiring model from huge agency, pay her and pay commission and maybe even being in troubles. So they're looking for unsigned models or clients. They are asking, can we work with your mother agent directly or maybe with you? If you can open some, you know, like this little company for like me, I'm a model. There is my limited blah, blah, blah thing.
Right.
So I think this is what it brings. With all the scandals around it and conflicts, clients they just more and more getting scared of being part of it and damage their reputations through agencies what are not delivering.
Well, like let's talk a little bit about your experience with your post, because how much attention did that get on social media?
Yeah, too much. But to be honest, it was not the attention the way we wanted.
We encouraged other people to speak, which is amazing. Because like so many were just afraid, you know.
Yeah, that was motivating. But I remember it were 3 days of the biggest stress for me. I could not sleep. I was so scared. Of course, agency, this one was sending me a lot of emails saying that basically before trial we'll decide and judge will do the thing and say this agency is bad, they're not paying money. I cannot say it publicly because by laws it's not proven yet.
You will spend more money to go to the court than you will receive. This is actually scary. Like you cannot speak up, because otherwise they will send you emails, they're going to sue you or something like this. I don't think it should be like this. I think we live in a free world, and social media is a free platform where you can speak about anything what is happening with you and about your experience, because otherwise how we going to change this system? Because if we will be like continue being silent about that, we are not getting paid, we are getting threatened, we are getting abused, whatever, it will just continue happening. Because this is like, you know, threats after they don't want to pay you, you're getting threatened. This is abuse. Like, come on, like, what is this happening? So I think it should be stopped, and I think that the mother agencies and models, they have to speak about it as soon as they see that they're having like some delays with the payments with some agencies, or it's clearly that the agency cannot pay them or something like this. Because those agencies, they continue signing new models. They continue like finding new mother agencies to work with, or scouts, for example. So, and this is like endless circle, because those new models and agency, they just get into this circle. They also not getting paid. They're like also just sitting silently and feeling very disappointed that the choice they made, and they feel scammed, of course, because they had done the job. Like, for example, Sophia, she flew to different countries to work, like I think Spain, Amsterdam, to Barcelona and to Amsterdam and some other place. So she basically, like, she had to like get on a plane or get on a train and go to another country to work for this agency, for their client, and in the end she haven't get paid.
On top of that, I remember for one of my job, I was it was just in the beginning, and I was feeling like, like a good girl. They were struggling to find me some ticket, and I was like, guys, I have this application for getting tickets in Spain or in France, and I can I have a little discount. Let me just get it, and I will send you a paycheck, and you just can compensate me through client or somehow. And I remember they've been sending me messages like, "Oh, you're such a nice model. It's so nice to work with you." And then I was like, "Oh gosh, why did I really?"
Yeah, she's a easy girl, actually. Like, it's all fine. But
yeah, and even for this little thing,
and then she haven't get paid. Like, we had to fight for those money. Like, wow,
yeah.
okay.
But you mentioned something that honestly is going to be the change in the industry, because and I think this is just because obviously like I have this app that I'm building that I'm literally trying to figure out. I go around and as I've been interviewing people and building my audience for the last couple of years, I continue to learn about the problems that the industry has. And now I'm a mother agent and I want to never have to deal with these issues and stuff. But a lot of that comes from understanding and hearing the stories from other people. But the thing that you said that is going to be the change is not only speaking out, but also going directly to the clients. Because if the clients are finding out that these agencies aren't paying their models, we, the people, have to come after the clients and say, hey, client, stop working with this agency. And that is where we actually have the power as people that are in the industry to go to the brands directly, whoever was the one that you worked with and however many of the jobs that you did. It needs to be honest to be like, these agencies are not paying these models. How do you feel about working with people that don't pay? We have to put the onus on the brands in order for the agencies to feel fear about not paying their models and playing dirty, because we are a good faith-based industry. And if the agencies, because they're not learning how to manage their business the right way, and they're thinking that, well, it's the models and the mother agents, especially because models in the industry have always been treated as the lower end of the totem pole. And that needs to change as well, because first of all, the industry has changed and we all have to understand that we can no longer approach it the same way as we used to, including the way that modeling agencies manage their business, which is frustrating too, because I see just in superficial fronts how they lack the acceptance that it does not work the way that it used to. I visit a lot of these modeling agencies here in Paris, for an example, and I'm still shocked that they don't have someone that they've hired to run their social media. It's like that's one job that an agency could be doing that could even bring in some more revenue for that agency if they had one person dedicated to. So there's a lot of things that these agencies are doing that are so behind. But realistically, yes, models have to speak out, but now we have to actually be targeted. Models, I say we, but the industry, like we who are protective of the models, we have to be more specific. And it's no longer just speaking out about the specific agency, but it's also naming the brands that you did the work for that you haven't gotten paid for, because now at that point the brands have a responsibility to ensure that they are transparent, which actually makes it easy for me to bring something onto the app that I'm building so that the brands can be protected, because now I have a solution to say, hey brands, to ensure that you have protection so that you don't look bad when an agency doesn't pay their model. Well, now we're creating something in the app that allows you to like literally notify when the payment has been submitted, so that all of the responsibility is now on the modeling agency and not on the brand to protect your image. Because right now, your brand image is everything because of social media. So you mentioning that, I think, is the most critical thing for every model to understand, that while it's feels like the most easiest thing is to blame your agency, it doesn't just stop there. You really have to start mentioning the brands that you've done the work for, because it's up to the brands. They're the ones that have the people. Like a lot of what goes on behind the industry is gatekept. It's not, the public doesn't know about anything of like who books who, what agencies, what, but they do know the brand because that's who they're buying the products from. And if the brands are getting a bad reputation that they aren't paying their models, even though they are, that's where we really have to get that advantage. And brands are not going to want to deal with modeling agencies that are disrupting their reputation or their name. So I think that's how we have to approach it. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because I think that that's critical. But now, has there been resolution with this particular agency in Spain?
Before coming to it, I really want to mention that for everything what you said, there is still two obstacles what models are facing. First, they have lack of education about how their money are coming. Sometimes I'm meeting girls and it's like, how do you work here in Paris? My agency takes 70% tax for me. And I was like, oh my God. That's why it's because you never came to your account, never sit with him, never look through all your papers, never figure out like, I actually, I don't know, brought you tax paper from my country. Or for example, I'm resident of France right now. Why I'm still threatened as a model from like model étranger, like a foreigner model or something else. Why you paying this and that? So many of them are really lacking having information about it, and they need to have some resource what will, maybe right now with ChatGPT it's actually way more easier, but just a year ago I remember it still was a problem, this one. And Second, with transparency, nobody likes to work with scandalists. We have saying in Russian that, oh yeah, we figure out who was thief, but still, we don't like all of the people who were suspect. It's and because of it, people are really trying to stay on a distance with anyone who were somehow touched by any this topic, like, oh, this did not pay, or this guy, I don't know, was harasser or something else, because it, like, everyone is looking for good vibes on the production, so we are not stressing and blah blah blah. And that's why sometimes agencies are scared to send any message to client asking, like, hey, what's up, guys, so you want to still work with my model, or she can go to vacations, or she should stay the entire month here waiting for your response. Or I don't know, clients, they a bit like, they scared to say out loud about something as well. They're not basically translating their point of view anymore, because again, as you mentioned, reputation right now is so fragile with social medias. So it's two things what I believe can be evolved in the industry if we're gonna have some, I think, mental switch, if we will consider education about how to run your own image, your own business, your own taxes, whatever, what's gonna be with you in your countries. And second, if we will stop cringe from speaking out, because this is what people are, they literally cringing. It's, yeah, I remember I received a lot of messages saying like, oh, go girl, you're doing the right thing, and I believe so. And at the same time I was thinking like, gosh, oh my god, I wish this can finish so quickly, because I still want to work and I don't want my clients think that I'm this problematic
right.
model. Yeah, right. And it's very hard to make this little thing, even if you're right, you're doing everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's also why I'm here, because I am not someone that is beholden to any of these people, right? And so I'm here to amplify the situation, because this needs more attention, because the agencies, brands, models, everybody needs to know that there's accountability that's coming, and the industry is not going to continue to run the way that it has been, where people get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
There are people like me who are independent, and we have the biggest platforms, the biggest voices in this space. And, someone like me is trying to, make the industry like fun and pleasant and productive and efficient, so that all of us can have a piece of the pie, because that's ultimately what we all want. We all are doing this because we love the creative process. We love working with models. We love doing the photography. We love doing the product development, all that. We all love doing that. And that's what we have to remember, that in order for us to continue doing what we're doing, especially when the world is changing, especially when, economic situations are happening and businesses aren't making as much money as they used to, and there's an oversaturation maybe of brands and models, like, we have to be very tight knit and make sure that we're building a safe community for models, for other agents, for modeling agencies, for brands to participate in. And when we see things that aren't right, they're unjust, there's an injustice, like models not getting paid and agencies not being transparent, we have to stand up together, and we have to ensure that we have to make sure that does not happen anymore. Like, we don't allow it to continue further. So that is why I have a platform in the first place, to put everybody on notice. Like, you cannot be not paying your models. And if you guys are having financial issues, you need to be transparent about that. Like, it's one thing to just withhold money from people because you think that they're not important enough, but it's another thing. It's like, if you guys are having issues, you have to have a plan, because, and you guys shouldn't be representing models. If you can't afford to pay your models or to run an agency, you should not be running an agency. But that's the point of this conversation, is to be able to, because, like you were saying, like, so many people have been going through this, and I'm new to being a mother agent for a year, and I have not experienced this, and I don't plan to, because of learning from your guys' experience to ensure that something like this doesn't happen, right? But how many, when you were talking about this, like in private and in your DMs, how many models would you say like expressed similar situations to you?
A lot, but also I had one model. She used to be a really close friend of mine several years ago, and we somehow just stopped talking much. I didn't know what's going on with her, and she texted me, "Oh, really? This agency they signed me just a week ago. Are you not joking?" And she truly could not have belief in it. And to me, it was very heartbreaking because I remember she was quite struggling with getting signed by anyone, like being stable in European market. And for her, this agency who took her, she was feeling super like secure, same as me. When I saw like, oh, they have so many followers, they have cool guys on the board. For her, it was very heartbreaking. And of course, there were some people who texted like, oh, this happened to me too. I was stalking. I found many of them in any other post, in other people comment section. And I was so surprised. I was like, wow, guys, some of you texting that it's been like 5-8 years and you never got your money. To be honest, even going through all this big stress, I'm glad that we still done it because, well, it's nice to be paid.
Right.
In the case of these agencies, we knew they weren't hiding that they're going through the hard times. But the thing is, why I got to the point of posting it, because I've been on the phone for months telling them pay us the rest, because I knew that this is not such a big amount for the money for them. They could pay it right away. You don't need, because they were saying like, yeah, we will pay you again and again. I'm like,
I also texted them.
You cannot run a business like this, telling the person you're gonna pay, and you continue repeating it. We will pay you next week, next month, and something like this, and you're not getting paid. Of course, you get frustrated and you get pissed, and they just have to be conscious maybe about what they're saying. I don't know. This is not a kindergarten. This is a business. There are people who want to buy food. They have bills to pay and everything, and they're treating us like. I don't know, we will find money somewhere else.
Yeah. And also, I remember I've been warning them for years that, guys, I'm going to post something. Guys, I'm on my way to do TikTok about you. Guys, I'm preparing all the screenshots. So it was not a big news. They were, I don't know, they were of course not ready, but at least I let them know for advance. That,
we even sent them letters.
Telling that we're gonna post about it.
No, we send them letters by post saying that they have to pay. We will put the date until they have to pay and blah blah.
Otherwise, this is a legal letter.
Yes. But
like a notice, basically.
You see, it didn't work. It's same if you would go to the court. Imagine that would be still happening, this process, because they wouldn't do anything at all.
Yeah. But on what you just mentioned on that friend of yours that probably felt like she sided with them than you and stuff. There are a lot of dumb models out there. Dumb models that you guys are more likely to sign to an agency because of the followers and because of the illusion of modeling. And you don't understand that if an agency is engaging, if you know of one agency or one story from a model whose agency isn't paying them and they're going back and forth and you're hearing about the situation and you're considering whether or not you should sign with them and you still decide to sign with them, that means that you are really dumb, because this agency is bad at business. And why would you want to work with an agency that is not good at business? Like, your agency should have enough money to be paying. Not even have enough money. I mean, it's not about having money. It's they're receiving a payment from a client and their responsibility is to pay the model the percentage that they're owed. And if you're telling me that an agency is bad at doing that, why would you want to sign with them? They're not going to be paying you, or they're not going to be effective at running a business on your behalf. So unfortunately, there are a lot, and I would love to underscore and emphasize, dumb models that continue to only sign a contract because, oh my gosh, this is a big sounding name, or oh my gosh, some
other...
other...
It's never gonna happen to me.
Right. And here's the other thing too, that because some of you guys, the problem is that not every model is treated the same at agencies. If you are a big name model, guess who's getting paid the fastest? That model at that agency. But if you're a model that's not necessarily well known or a top model and is working super consistently, if you're not famous, if you're not their breadwinner at the agency, you're going to be the model that's going to be treated differently. And you need to understand that just because maybe you hear from one model, because, who's to say that there's not going to be one model from that agency? It's a big top model. Oh, I've never had any problems with that agency. They've always paid me on time, because you'll hear stuff like that.
Probably those models who got paid from those agencies, or agents who say maybe they have some very good relationship with the agency, or those models are actually top models, because agency cannot pay to the top model, otherwise it will be a scandal.
Exactly.
You know, like, and some of the agencies, they really think that, you know, if you are not top, like, yeah, we will pay you in the end,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway,
Which is why I love that you
Yeah.
came out and you did that, because this also is showing them that it doesn't matter how big or small the model is. It matters the ethic of the situation, because the smaller the model or the bigger the model doesn't really matter, because if models are experiencing the same thing, if they're feeling like their agency isn't looking out for them and they're not paying them, guess what? You're pissing off a global community of models that are sharing that same pain point. And so agencies are not safe from withholding pay, whether it's a top model or a new model or someone that is, you know, in the middle layer of a whole thing. Just pay your models and then you won't have a headache. It's as easy as that.
You know, I was speaking about this with other models who also got not paid, and me and Anastasia, we both came to this conclusion that if all of us gonna post about how bad is this agency not paying us, they gonna lose so many models. Many of them who did not work yet, who did not, who don't, for who they don't hold any debt, will say, you know, guys, arrivederci, I don't want to be with you, and that's it. Other mother agents will stop working with them, and they can go bankrupt, what means that nobody will ever get money. It's also the reason why some people stay silent. They're just scared to completely destroy this whatever is.
They're just scared
yet
not to
left.
get paid in the end. But you know, sometimes you get to the point when you're like, okay, maybe I won't get paid, but at least I warn other people that they also might get into trouble if they work with this agency. Every time when I speak up about anything, like if the model was not behaving very well, you know, when she left me and tried to find another agency, or agencies are not paying to me or something like this, every time when I speak up, it's not because, like, you know, I just want to, you know, spread negativity around. I just want to warn other people that they might get in trouble if they deal with this agency or with this person. And that's it. At that point, I already didn't care if you are going to get paid or not. I just wanted other people to know, because this is like, you know, sometimes we don't expect, but it's true that the huge big agencies with a good name, they act this way. And people think like, it should be, everything is all right because they post beautiful things and blah, blah, blah. But in the end, there's like lots of not good things happening, and not only with the payment, but with other things, you know. So that was the thing that I just wanted to make sure that other people know, and that's it. Because, like, actually, you know, the thing is about those agencies that they're very naive, actually, because they think that mother agencies and models between, they don't communicate between each other, like, but actually, like, mother agencies, we have like groups here and there, like, you know, sometimes like 10 people, 20 people, even more, and we are all asking each other, like, we find a new agency or we about to sign the model with someone, with some new agency we never worked before. We ask, hey guys, did you work with this agency? How is about payment? How they are treating models? We're asking everything before placing a model with almost any agency, because if we never had experience with them before, we will ask, how was your experience? So they like, and then we tell them that, hey, you know, we actually like in touch with each other, and we know that you are not paying to me, and someone else has told me that they also not getting paid, and they like, oh really? You're in touch. How bad is this? You are like bringing you know, up our issues, but we are like only were exchanging in emails with you,
Right.
Like, you know.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something too that's actually an interesting double-edged sword, which is the fact that, yeah, if a bunch of models at an agency and they have debt at the agency, and that agency is having and building a reputation of not paying their models, and if they piss off enough of their models that have debt at that agency, this agency, if they don't even have the money to pay their models, and these models have debt, yeah, these models are free to walk away, and they can threaten legal action all they want, but they're not going to be able to afford to pay the legal fees for all of these models. And what they're going to end up with is they have to go bankrupt, because they're not only the models are not going to pay for their debt, because at that point it's like, why? You guys don't have enough money to even chase us anyway. But it's like, why even get to that point as an agency? Like, why even get to that point in general? You know, that's what we're here to try to prevent. We're not trying to just put people on blast. or make threats. We're here to say, hey, let's prevent this from getting to that point. Let's have open discussions about how we want to work together when we collaborate, the mother agent, the model, the modeling agency. And let's do this the right way so we can all make money and we can all continue to enjoy this process, because I'm sure you didn't enjoy having to do that. Like, it's not enjoyable to have
It
to.
was horrible. I had a horrible month. Like it was because like I also had other things going on, and also this. I think it was March, right?
Yeah, February, March, something.
February, March. No, it was March. My God, it was the worst month of this year. Like it was very stressful, of course.
They
Like,
also like to accuse you that you do need to reach some hype in social
Right,
media.
right.
It's like, not a single follower what came to me from this Instagram post worth it.
I am introvert. I don't like to go public, like, but I had to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like this is something that you guys wanted to do. So, but again, I think on behalf of the entire modeling community, we thank you for stepping up and speaking about this issue. And I think the only thing we can do now is create solutions and unify again, like coming together to understand each other's pain points and kind of just rally together to prevent models from being taken advantage of and prevent agencies, especially in different countries, where they feel they might have more power in their territory, from thinking that they can not pay models or take advantage of the situation. We want to work with these agencies globally. We want to, be safely putting our models in these markets. But agencies have a responsibility to the model and the mother agent to be transparent, to be upfront, to actually pay the models and pay the mother agent. And if you don't, we'll come for you. That's as simple as that. I mean, don't put us in that situation where we have to go public with situations like this. Work with us, and we'll work with you. And just remember that we're living in a different world now, where a mother agent has way more power than modeling agencies really ever considered. And it's time that everyone is given the respect that they're due. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree totally. But on another side, I can tell that there are lots of good agencies actually, like around the world, who are very respectful. They pay on time. Sometimes they even, delete some fees on model statements, something like this, just to girl to be able to make more money on her pocket, for example. Yeah, like. But there are still some people to whom I would suggest to, have a better business plan, because there is obviously some problems with them. They're spending too much money, like, because I see those agencies, they keep scouting, they go on the business on the business trips, like scouting trips, they are signing new models more and more at the same time when they don't have money to pay the models they already have. This is like a little bit, something is wrong there.
Right.
I wish to mention that when I was choosing the agency, I remember that, as I say, like, I picked a big and cool one. And then when several years after I discovered that they not paying, and there were people who said like, I had this story with them 5-8 years ago, and who never speaked up. I remember this like, very itchy pain inside my chest, thinking like, now second boutique agency who also wanted to sign me, and to who we said, no, sorry, we're gonna go with these guys. They taught us a lesson and they refused to get me. Yeah. And I was like, for someone like, I never in the entire internet saw any review that it could happen to me, and yet it did.
Which goes to show that it's not necessarily how big the agency is, it's really how great the team is that's behind the agency name. And don't be confused that just because it's a smaller, lesser known agency that they're not going to do just as good of a job, because sometimes they'll do an even better job, which I think that's what your point is, right?
True. And also my point is that if you becoming this one part of this whole silent chain, it becomes the whole system in which agencies are free to do whatever they want, breaking their own contracts, not paying, do like everything what is in their freedom and even above it. So it's also, sometimes it depends on us on the small little models, small little mother agencies to break this whole
System.
chain,
Yeah.
circle of I don't know, evil or a circle of
Corruption.
irresponsibility. Yeah.
I agree.
it is. I think it's very unfair that people
It's
who
very
are
unfair.
like trying to, fight for the truth.
Justice.
For some reason, for justice, for some reason they are problematic. We are not problematic, like, we are.
So you're problematic. You're not
No,
paying
no,
us.
no. I would say like we are like revolutionaries or something.
Well,
like
you know what
this,
they call that in the United States when they accuse people who are victims of a situation and those who are like, oh, you problematic. It's called gaslighting. Have you heard of that?
Well,
Exactly. This is what I tell to men. Like, you guys
Gaslight from Toy Story you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what gaslighting is when they make you out to be the problem instead
But
of themselves.
exactly, this is true. Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much for coming onto the show and sharing
Thank you
guys'
for
story.
invitation.
Thank
Of
you
course, yes, and we'll be hoping for better changes to come. We'll see you next time on Industry Talk with Brandon Andre. Thanks for listening to today's show, and don't forget to hit that follow button to be in the loop when a new episode drops. Be sure to check out my model masterclass by visiting my website, brandonandrephoto.com, or by clicking the link in my bio on Instagram @thebrandonandre.